You're watching Adorama TV.
Hi everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Adorama TV. Today I'm going to be talking about the Profoto D1 Studio Kit, and there are actually 9 different versions of this kit, and it breaks down pretty simply actually. It starts with the different watt seconds, so there is a kit that's 250 watt seconds, one that's 500 watt seconds, and the one that we're showing today, it's 1,000 watt seconds. They all look exactly the same, it just has different power outputs, and then each of those kits has 3 options. So there's one option that you can get the D1 heads that have a sync cable that connect it to your camera and meter, or the second option is to get the D1 heads that have a built-in air receiver, and so you can use that with an air remote if you own one of those. Or if you don't own an air remote, that's the third option. You can get a kit that has the air receiver built in on the head and an air remote that comes in the kit. So it's all about the power output and the options for syncing your D1 to your camera and your meter. So the one we're showing today is the Profoto D1 1000 watt second kit with the air remote and the air built in. So the kits all come with 2 heads, and these heads are phenomenal. The thing I like about them is they have a built-in handle, so it's really easy to take these around if you're shooting on locations, you're shooting weddings, doing a lot of location portrait work. These are really, really lightweight, and they're very small and compact. In fact, you can see, here's my D3X. It's not much larger than a normal camera with the 70mm lens attached, so it's really nice and compact. And then everything that you need on this flash is just built in. You don't need an external reflector unless you want to shape the light in some certain way. So everything is right there built in. So it comes with 2 of those guys. It also comes with 2 light stands. Now these light stands are very compact and they'll fit right into the case. There is a case that all of this stuff fits in. We didn't have enough room for it here in our show today, but everything folds up and sticks into a nice case. This has a protective cap on the front of these D1 heads, and so these just come right off. And then you can see this looks a little bit different than a normal Profoto head in that this is totally recessed and flat. I'll be talking about that a little bit more in the future when we talk about how these really have amazing light. But that looks a little different, but it's cool because that's protected and you don't have to worry so much about bumping around. And then this plugs in just with the normal cables here, so I'm going to stick this on here, and we're actually going to fire these guys up and show you a couple things about them. One thing that you'll notice right off the bat, I'll spin this guy around here, is that the heads, well, they're all digital. And you can probably hear that a fan just kicked on. These are fan cooled, so they have, you can shoot pretty rapidly with these guys. They're not going to overheat because they have these built-in fans. But you can see here that this is a digital readout. The D actually stands for digital, and that means you have really precise control over the power output. So let me show you really quickly what this middle button does here. So let's say we want to move up exactly 1 stop in power. Well, you just push the button and rotate, and it goes from 4 to 5, meaning we just went from 1 to the next stop up. If I want to go 1 stop brighter, I can do that again. So we can go exactly. So if you're metering and you go, gosh, I need to be exactly 1 stop lower or 1 stop more, you can do that. The nice thing is you can also move these guys in 10th stop increments. So I don't know if you've ever metered in the studio and you're at 9.1 and you want it to be exactly 9. Well, with this guy, you can actually just click it once, and that's only 1/10 of a stop of power, and it's very, very accurate. So if you're just really crazy about light like I am and you want to dial things in precisely, well, these will allow you to do that. There are a lot of other options on the back of this head here. First of all, you can turn on and off your head with this button right here. This is the test button, so if you want to test and refresh that, you can do that. You also have the slave mode. So there's 2 different slave modes on this. You can just use a normal sync cable, so that's the one that is default with any head. The second one, you can use an infrared sensor, so it looks to see if another light has flashed. So that allows you to combine these heads with other studio kits with no problem. And then the third is by connecting it to an air remote like this guy. And I'll talk about this a little bit more in the future. So that's the slave option. You also have the ready option, so by default it will beep. So when I push test, it's going to beep. You can also change that to have the light dim, and so what will happen is the light will go out and then come back on, so you get rid of all of that noise. Or you can turn that off totally if you're shooting with a bunch of heads, so you don't have a lot of noise or strobe effects. And then the modeling light, you can turn that on full blast or you can have it proportional, and you change that with this button right here. And then the other thing that is really unique about these heads is this ability to set not only the channel, but the group. And I'll talk about that when we talk about this Air remote, because it's pretty spectacular. Now this Air remote, since we're about ready to talk about it, the nice thing is it's very, very small. It fits right onto a camera. So here's my little D3X. And the cool thing is now you can control your heads right from the top of your camera. Now, I'm not just saying you can hit the test button and fire them like you would with a normal Pocket Wizard, but you can actually turn modeling lights on and off. You can turn heads on and off. You can change the power up or down, and you can do that in groups. So let me give you a really quick demo. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to spin this light around here just to show you the groups. And you can see that we have a modeling light on in this, and I'll turn this head on, and you can see that we have 2 modeling lights, and I'll make sure this one isn't blowing us out. Okay, there we go. So we have 2 modeling lights on here, and what I've done is I've set this guy to group A, and I've set this guy to group B. Now, with the top of my camera, if I had this on my camera, I can go in here and I've got all these different groups. And so I can say, you know what? I want the modeling light on group A to turn off. And when I hit that, look at that. That one goes off, this one stays on. I can say, nope, I want that to turn back on. I want to take the modeling light on that guy, I want to turn it off. And so, sure enough, it works great. Or I can say, you know what? I just want to turn this flash totally off. So I can turn the head off. So not only does the modeling light go off, but when I hit test there, this one fires and this one does not, which is really cool. I can turn this head back on. And so what that means is you can now assign lights to different groups. So maybe I have a group of lights that are all on my background, a group of lights that are all my fill lights, and then a group of lights that are my key lights or whatever. And then you can control all of those independent from each other right from the top of your camera, which makes making fine-tuning and adjustments really, really great. Especially one of the complaints with monolights has been that when you get them really high in the air, it's sort of hard to change the power output because you have to have a ladder to get up there and change those. Well, with the Air remote, you don't have to worry about that. You can change everything right from the top of your camera. Let me show you a couple more things with this Air remote. I'm going to zip this so you can see the back of this flash here. And what I'll do here is, let me go back here and make sure I have it on the right group. If I want to change this power 1/10 of a stop, I can just take this and I push the energy button just once. And that changes it 1/10 of a stop. If I want to change this a full stop, I push and hold, and you can see that goes a full stop. So I can do 1/10 stops, I can do full stops. I can go in here, I can turn the modeling light on and off, I can turn the head on and off, I can change channels. This also allows me to be a transmitter or a receiver. So that means if I have one Air remote and I need another one to maybe hang on a different light that doesn't have an Air built in, I can use this to do that. So there are a lot of options using the Profoto Air remote system. It's really, really nice. Well, let's talk about some of the other things that this kit has. First of all, it has the stand, it has the D1 heads. It also has some umbrellas. So these umbrellas, they just slide right into the top of this. And there you go, just like that. You can control your light, make it really nice and soft. So if you want hard light or soft light, everything is built in to do that. Now the other thing that I noticed on this, and I mentioned it earlier, is that the front of these lights, they're just flat. And so if you're familiar with Profoto lights, you're used to something that sticks out a little bit. And so you get a lot of light coming all around that. So it's really fills up your softboxes and things. And so originally I thought, well, I'm not so sure about this flat front here. Well, the thing that I noticed, and I'll turn this up, you can see that this really lights up a large area. And so the angle that the light comes out is actually pretty broad. And if you watch my hand here, you can see that right there, I'm getting light. So that is almost a 90-degree angle from this head. And so this light really comes out and it lights up a lot of stuff. So you're getting a really nice even light that's hard. So this acts a lot like a Fresnel. It really gives you that nice hard light that has no hot spots in it. So I did a lot of portrait work with these guys and I really enjoyed working with them. So again, this is the Profoto D1 Studio Kit. It comes with 2 D1 heads, depending on the watt seconds that you want, 2 stands, it comes with 2 umbrellas, and a case to put everything in. One important thing to note is that these D1 heads are totally compatible with all Profoto light modifiers, so any light modifier that would fit on a normal Pro head or an acute head will absolutely fit on the D1 head as well, which means all the reflectors, grids, snoots, globes, softboxes, anything that you already have for a Profoto head is going to work just fine with the D1s as well. Well, that's the D1 kit. Thanks for joining me this week on Adorama TV. To see more about these kits and more about studio lighting, please visit the Adorama Learning Center for more information. And remember, if you have questions about any kind of photography gear, you can send questions to me at AskMark@Adorama.com. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you again next week.
This episode is brought to you by Adorama TV. Visit the Adorama Learning Center where you'll find photography tips and techniques, links to the gear used in this episode, and related videos. For all the latest photography, video, and computer gear, visit Adorama.com. And the next time you're in New York City, visit our store located on 18th Street between 5th and 6th Avenue.